Hey, everybody, we're talking Downton Abbey on What the Flick. It's back in America.
Yes, if you're in the UK, you've seen this already. It's old news. Forgive us. We're behind.
You've been waiting for 4 months for us to talk about it. Season 4, Episode 1. There is no title.
Season 5.
Season 5, excuse me, but it would be called The Fire. So, first of all, since I said that, Jenna, Busch, Alonso, Duralde, Ben Mankiewicz. So let's talk about The Fire for a sec, because, I mean, the sex between James and Lady...
Wait, I wrote it down.
No, Shackleton is the one set up with the Lord.
Oh, right, you're right, sorry.
Yeah, and
so the sex that James is having
Lady Hot Pants.
with the older woman whom he used to work for, it must have been very intense because there was a fire and people screaming in the hallway. Or those houses are just built so soundproof. Like at no point do they think,
on the wall.
are they like, no point do they like, what's happening out there?
Yeah, like they are in flagrante
They are
when
in it,
Lord
right.
Grantham comes bounding in.
Well, you know, they had a sheet over their heads, so can't hear anything.
I guess
So now, then, along those same points, are the highs and lows and the he's out but he's back in of Thomas too much?
They seem to be going back to that well a lot.
Yeah.
Where like you think, oh, this is going to be the one that he gets fired for. Oh no, fuck, he bumbled into doing something good, and now all is forgiven. Because he did one good thing, we're gonna completely paper over the super shitty other thing that he just did.
Again, and it's this. I mean, and Lady Grantham, or not Lady Grantham, but Cora is. I mean, she's a buffoon to not see this stuff now because. Like she did see it, she got it. She likes the new
Baxter.
Then she likes Baxter.
I like Baxter.
We all like Baxter. Baxter is a person behaving as a person. And believe me, don't get me wrong, I love the show, and I had a great time watching it. But the Thomas, like she got it before, and even I was watching The Manners of Downton, and they include the conversation about Thomas letting them down before. Like they flash back to that. In the Manners of Grantham, Manners of Downton afterwards, I'm baffled by how incompetent these people are that they can't finally put it together that hey, you know what, this guy can't be trusted and he's in a critical position, so let's get someone who can be trusted.
Yeah, I don't believe that everybody doesn't know how awful he is. And I mean, there's no reason they wouldn't have fired him by now. And although, you know, if Cora's gonna say, well, yeah, you stole a lot of jewelry, but you know what? Stay in my house, stay in my room. I have jewelry, you can take that too. I don't know, I think she's kind of a dimwit. I love her, but...
And the thing is, I don't even get what his end game is at this point. Is this all just so he can be Lord Grantham's valet? That's it? Like, that somebody with this level of connivance, that's all?
He's distracting himself from the fact that he can't have Jimmy.
I think he's like the bald guy you watch Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
It's been too long. Who's the bald guy who trades in information?
Varys.
Varys.
Yeah.
He's like Varys.
Yeah.
He thinks that you trade on information and that information is the only currency that matters in Downton.
I think it's that we're still reeling from the absence of O'Brien.
Yeah.
I think he and O'Brien as a team were fun, but now it's all on him, and it's not as fun to watch him do all the stuff by himself, to be the only person on his side, and to be the person who like gets caught fucking up, but then still somehow gets his bacon saved, because if he goes, then where's the intrigue going to be?
Daisy's going to have to do something terrible.
Exactly. Mrs. Patmore is going to be stabbing people in the back.
And there wasn't my classic, as I've said every year, but it bears repeating here in episode 1, that the whole premise of the show is based on somebody listening.
Oh, so much.
Right?
Did you see the Clooney thing? There's a charity thing in the UK called Text Santa, and they did these Downton parodies with the whole cast and George Clooney as the new Lord Grantham, and he catches Thomas behind a curtain, and Tom's like, it's in my job, it's in my contract that I overhear conversations and use them to my benefit.
So this time there wasn't sort of eavesdropping, as there was just people walking in on conversations. I mean, just once someone in that house say, I got to talk to you about something. Let's go into my room. Let's just walk outside somewhere.
Let's walk in front of more people.
I mean, it's a mansion. There is no room in that house they can find where you're sort of have a modicum of privacy. That said, okay, these are the criticisms of people who.
This is from a place of love.
Only a place of love. And in a little bit, Like if they stopped overhearing conversations, it wouldn't even be fun. Like now it's the thing
What's
that
the
they
show
do.
about?
It's true, and there are lower servants that kind of wander around, and you never really see their faces, but they can be passing information too. Like I would want to walk outside anytime I had a secret. Outside.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's right. Right. This is an outside conversation.
Rabbit hunting.
That's right. That's right.
Rabbit hunting.
What did we learn of significance in this episode?
Oh, well, Marigold. The whole thing with
All
Edith
right.
and Marigold, we learned that Mr. Drew, his last name is it Drew? Yes, it is Drew. Mr. Drew
fireman.
knows that Edith is Marigold's mother.
I thought it's funny because that was a big revelation. I thought he already knew.
Yeah, see, I kind of thought that too, but then, and they're...
But she didn't know he knew. That was the revelation.
He didn't know that she
I
knew
thought
that
she'd been clued in. I thought but it doesn't matter. He knows now.
Yeah, he knows now, and of course somebody's going to overhear some conversation about the kid. There was the fire, the little picture of the kid is in the bedroom, if it didn't burn, so it probably did. But
No, it didn't burn. That's why
Because-
that's why we saw it.
Evidence.
Right.
Now, was she, did I miss where she takes laudanum or something? Why was she sleeping through that?
well,
I think it was just the smoke. I think literally it's just someone
just
passing
smoking
out.
inhalation.
smoking
Yeah,
inhalation,
yeah.
passing
And it
out.
was
True,
the
that
book
does
that
happen.
set it on fire, and
Right.
because she
Yeah,
was
it
upset
it was
and
not,
flung it into the
It was
fireplace.
a tough one to
Okay,
swallow,
just-
but I
let's-
hear.
just
I
checking.
decided.
Fair
smoke.
enough. No,
Yeah.
I'll buy
totally
it.
passed
Dick
out.
Van Dyke told us smoking inhalation is a bad thing. Look it up on YouTube, kids. Anyway, this episode to me seemed a little veering into Crash/The Newsroom territory, whereas this show used to be about what people weren't talking about, and now everybody's talking about everything. Like there seem to be no filters at all about, you've got bomb-throwing school teacher, throwing down and stuff. And I'm thinking, the Granthams are patrons of the school. You would not mouth off at his dinner, even if you totally disagree with him. I mean, I've worked for nonprofits, and you hear donors say stupid shit, and then you just nod and hope someone changes
But
the
she
subject.
is. But that's who she is. She has a degree, as she evidenced by the manner in which she came downstairs to. She has a degree of contempt for them. It's not just that
Sure.
so she doesn't. That said, it is inconsistent with someone who thought, I do have contempt for them, but I really like Tom.
Well, yeah, and she accepted the invitation. It's like, if you're that morally opposed to the Granthams, don't go to the party. If you go to the party, shut the fuck up and behave the way a person behaves in those
It
situations.
did lead us to a great, great line, though, from Maggie
yes,
Smith.
Violet's line, because I love Violet so much. I mean, who doesn't? But that principles are like prayers, noble but very awkward at a party. That was a brilliant line.
And my wife, during that party scene, she buried her face in the pillow. She couldn't watch it. Couldn't watch it. Too awkward, which is, of course, a sign of good television. Even though you're right, there was a.
Yes, it was fun to watch, but I just
But
kept
it stuck
thinking,
out.
this woman is too smart for this.
What was unsaid, a little old school Downton, was Violet's play. And what is her game? Is it just that she does not
She doesn't want to get outranked by
Isabel.
By Isabel.
So she,
Yeah.
And that's it. It's not, because there's always some purity to Violet also, because it's also like her thought of, and come on, you should be with the goddamn doctor.
Oh, no
Yes.
kidding.
Right, those are,
He loves you.
right, he loves you, and this is who you are with someone who is actually working with people who need help as opposed to.
No, I think when it came to setting her up with the doctor, that was somewhat altruistic and like wanting Isabel to find happiness and stuff. But when Isabel becomes a threat as far as like getting a living gentry, and having an estate, that's when she has to go into full on Yenta mode and drag in Lady Shackleford.
So it's both.
Whatever.
It's
yeah.
both.
And then, of course, Isabel, who wasn't interested at all of a sudden is like, huh.
Right, she's brought in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then, of course, we had Mary and Gillingham,
Gillingham.
and their little tryst that's upcoming.
I know, but it's like you thought they were going to tryst then. I mean, for crying out loud, she slept with a Turk
Well,
in the
there's
house.
a fire, so
Well,
that's
that burned me once,
Right.
I assumed someone was going to see him coming out of her room with the fire, but he did. But they
Yeah,
didn't.
of course.
Yeah.
We all.
Yeah. I think we were too busy with the other, with
In fact, I
Jimmy
don't even-
and.
she did come out though because she.
Yeah. Well, he came out first, I think.
But also, it's. Yeah, they have to approach that and to deal with that
Yeah.
in episode 2. But also, I imagine in this case, whereas Hugh Bonneville is mortified that Jimmy is sleeping with the woman who he doesn't like and didn't want there.
Yeah.
But that if he'd seen Tony in there, he would have been like, "This is out to you know what? That's fine.
In the scheme of things,
Right, you know what?
this is down the
like,
list.
this is
want them to get
because this is
married
what he wants.
anyway.
That's right. This is what.
Yeah,
he wants
and
to
I mean, and I'm sure like there are very strict, obviously, social rules about how these things are handled. I think they're a little less concerned about the sexual behavior of a widow and mother
Right.
than they would be of, you know,
When
like a
did
young
this-
virginal, you know.
We're 1924, and obviously these are people still with a lot of 1874 in them, with a lot of Victorian England in them. But I mean, the change is, I mean, I guess we're seeing it. He did come in the room. He did suggest a holiday together, and she was willing to do it as long as it's
No one
quiet.
can ever know.
As long as they go somewhere where no rich people are.
Yeah, that's not going to work, though.
But like, we're got to be close. I mean, post-World War II is maybe even not post-World War II, maybe even World War II. Something changed.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
you
well.
know.
Well, just the
World War
20s
II
in
pretty much, I
general
think,
is-
kind of put the final nail in the coffin
Yeah.
of this
I
way of
remember
life.
Mary had her little tryst in the first season as well, so it's not something
the-
she.
Right,
when she
Yeah.
murdered the Turk.
with
Right.
Mr. Pamuk.
Yeah, so it's not like she hasn't done it before. But when you have a character on TV say something like, "No one can ever know,"
Everyone's
yes,
gonna know.
everyone's gonna know.
Everyone's going to know everything, and of course, and I like the fireman / farmer. I like what he's done. First of all, the fire hats. I get
Oh,
it.
well, I want one. I want one so badly.
I mean, Jesus, their houses are going to burn down with you guys putting your freaking uniform on.
I know, it's
They
the
look like
gladiator
Roman
entered the room.
centurions or something.
But so his plan is to get. I like his plan because it can't succeed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is bold. He's like, no, you're going to raise this kid, and we're just going to we're going to get you. At least we're going to get you massively involved.
I think she's going to be sort of like the lady patron of this child. She's going to take a special interest in this child. Apparently, I think even in the scenes from next week, she's going to be her godmother, you know. And I'm sure like we'll sort of have an interest and observe her, and you know, like probably pay for her education and yada yada. So it'll be sort of a way for her to meddle and be present without giving the game away. Although,
But do you
We'll
think
see how
she'll
that
hook up
flies.
with Crew? Because for some reason there was a thing with them. Even though I think it's all
Yeah, there is a
plotting
thing.
right
is
now.
he the
there's a
same
thing.
farmer that she was kind of flirting with last season, or is that a different farmer?
I
Remember
know.
that
I
she
don't
kept going.
remember.
She kept going over there, and finally they kind of like
I
told her to
keep
beat it.
confusing the show with Homeland, so I don't know.
Yeah, I totally.
Yeah,
get it.
those were very parallel lines. So I mean, it's a given. I think that the school teacher is gonna help Daisy with her maths.
Yes.
That seems to be.
Yeah, right. The school
set up
teacher's
rather
going to help
clearly.
Daisy with the math. That's nice. So we'll get the school teacher's clearly going to be around, and that's a relationship that makes sense for Tom, and it may be the thing that keeps him from going to America,
Yeah, yeah.
which is still in his place. Now I'm going to quiz you guys,
Okay.
and it seems subjective, but it's not. There's an answer to this. Forget Fire. Fire was wrong. If there was going to be a name of this episode, if they were the kind of show to name the episode, what would the episode be named? I have the definitive answer. I guarantee it. Please play along at home.
I'm gonna say fish fowl or red herring.
Interesting. No, wrong.
Oh God, I have no idea. I'm terrible with this stuff. Secrets and Lies.
Donk.
That's
Donk. Oh, that
Donk.
was
Donk.
cute.
It would be called Donk. That was a wonderful little moment. That was a
very
nice
cute.
little, hey, look, they're actually people. You know?
Like, oh, like they look at their
And
children
just when that,
occasionally.
right, and when she was like, he was like, hello, my darlings, and they were like, hello, Donk.
It was so cute.
Yeah, that was
Oh, and
adorable.
then Baxter and Mosley.
Oh,
Mosely.
Mosley's hair.
Oh
Mosley's hair.
God, you're looking very Latin.
Oh, that was the
Is that
best.
Italian blood?
Keep
Yeah.
him downstairs till his hair stops turning blue.
Yeah, but that was so great with the, you look like, Spanish? Right, yeah.
Irish.
Yeah.
I love Mosley so much.
There was a Ted Baxter episode where he was using the Grecian formula that no one will notice, and by the end of it, he's just like got this shiny black Reagan hair. It was
Yeah, how old do
crazy.
you look? 52?
51.
I mean, she clearly cares about Mosley, but she's like, it hasn't even occurred to her to look at him like that. Like, it hasn't even dawned on her. I hope.
You have a rash?
Well, and he's like, no. She's like, well,
well, then good then.
everything's great.
Cool.
Yeah, you're fine.
And okay, now I have to say, with Carson and the War Memorial, I kind of thought that he was making that shit up about the patronage
too.
just to get him out of the
Yeah.
fix. But it's nice that he actually made that a condition. That was a
he'd
very.
done it first, right? I thought
Yeah.
he was thought, I'll just have to, I'll do
I have
this.
to go back and make him do it. Yeah, but no, he'd already done it, which is a very Carson thing to do. You know?
And I thought really good about Hugh Bonneville there was that Lord Grantham, like, it was clear just from the way it was shot that he was bothered by not asking. But he actually handled it extremely well. He never had a moment you know, he was like, no, they want Carson. How wonderful is that? Like he was like he
didn't
made
stew.
he made a real effort in every conversation to not in any way take away Carson's honor,
Sure.
which I thought, like, because it's so hard to figure out, like, what kind of guy is he? Because we know he's clueless,
Yeah.
and he's a incompetent manager,
Yes.
right? But he is sort of pure of heart.
Well, and also remember there were a couple seasons ago there was the whole thing when the war was on where he thought he was going to lead the local brigade or whatever, and they were like, yeah, no. So I think maybe he's had some experience now of being passed over for this
Yeah,
sort of
and
thing.
Cora, well, I mean, her one look that she has for the entire show works for when she's looking at him when he's perceived some.
Alonso was doing Cora imitations before we started.
only
It was
one.
just-
No, but I like the way that she pronounces any word with the ER stuff, you know, like whatever that phonics thing is. Dessert,
Oh.
Baxter. It's always, we love saying that.
It made me very happy.
No, it's so anyway, I sort of like him, and then it reminded me. I think we've probably talked about this before, but he has that really great scene in Notting Hill where he's the guy who doesn't know what Julia Roberts is, and she's like, "I'm an actress." He's like, "Oh, I did a bit of acting in college. You know, you know, how much do you make now? It's very tough." And she's like, "I made $12 million on my last picture." And he's like, Oh, so you're doing quite well then. And it's just great because it's it turns out I mean that's the sign of a good actor. That is a different character.
There you go. He can do more than one thing. So yeah, I mean we're back. We're on. It's happening. It's
Save the dog.
Save ISIS. Oh boy.
No, yeah, they're gonna have to. The way they're renaming ISIS
Archer,
on Archer,
yeah.
they're gonna have to rename ISIS here. Yeah.
Well, and Dave was saying, he goes, "What year is it?" I said 1924, and I said, "The babies are still babies." He goes, "Is ISIS still alive?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's one old dog at this point."
The most famous dog butt in the world.
True,
Well,
but
where
maybe
were
he has a series of
No, I
dogs
think
and
he
just names them
renames
all
them.
ISIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the when did it start? It started right before World War I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
the
the
Titanic had
yeah.
just sunk.
So
So in
1914.
1914.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so we're
10
10
years
years.
on.
Right. So I mean, it could still ISIS could have been one.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see, by the way, outside after the fire when he said save the dog, I was like, oh, because I have a thing about animals on TV and in movies because as soon as you see one, you know they're going to kill it, and it freaks me out. So I had this terrible feeling
They
that
don't
after
kill
he's...
dogs on TV.
They do. They kill all the animals on TV, or they hurt them, or it's just as soon as you see
But
one.
people with the dogs, and the cat, like you, people can go to movies and see like 20 nuns get machine
Sure,
gunned
but
and be
not
like,
a dog.
oh, whatever. One cat, and they're like, oh, I can't see
Nope,
that.
Yep. No, I can't
Oh,
see that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
am one of those
But
people.
what movie kills the dog? I
All
Am
of them.
Legend. Like that's the only
It's
one.
not all. No, there.
I know
there are
people
many.
who wouldn't see
Turner and
inside Llewyn
Busch.
Davis until they were assured
Yes.
that nothing happened to the cat.
I was one of those people also.
We don't know what happened to the cat, right?
I don't know who gives a fuck
I
about
know,
the
but
cat.
they
I don't
didn't kill the
care.
Well, I
cat.
agree with you if it's a cat.
It's.
Oh, fuck the cat. It's fictional. Who
But anyway, I was
cares?
happy to see the dog walking outside by the fire
Yes.
trucks. It made me feel
They
better.
don't kill a dog. It's
They better
a
not.
very tough a show like that does not kill a pet.
Okay, I
They'll
feel
kill
better.
they'll kill any one of the lead characters. And we don't give a shit.
When,
Right?
when they want to move on with their career, but yeah, or unless oh, we're getting a visit from Old Yella from America.
Anyway, it's good to have it back. Looking forward to next Sunday. It is. It's good stuff. It's all
Yeah.
it's fun.
And if you are a UK viewer, don't spoil shit in the comments.
Yeah, people are
Be
really-
nice to your American cousins.
I've avoided them all that last few months. I'm so
Yes.
proud of myself.
Don't make us kick the shit out of you again or bail you out from the night. Thank you.